Well, welcome back to the Power Breakfast Show. My name is Wahiga Mwaura. Time now for the newspaper review, and to help me expertly analyze the issues plaguing our country today, both positive and negative, I'm joined by the men and a lady who help us in crafting the laws that govern this nation. And now together with me, we are waiting for Beatrice Elachi. She's on her way. She should be with us on set shortly, but we have Chris Wamalwa, Member of Parliament, Kiminini. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
In addition, we have Gatobu Kinoti, Member of Parliament in Mburi. We missed you last time. We're glad you've been able to make it here today. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Moses Kajwang, Senator, Homa Bay, welcome to the broadcast as well.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning to you. In fact, I missed that. Good morning to all of you gentlemen. Let's get into the paper review. We start with the Daily Nation, page 1. The big story, a very leading headline, I must say, why Kalonzo is under siege. And of course, what you expect when you look at a headline like this is that we expect answers, that this article will go deep into why and reveal that to us. And let me just briefly read the headline before I give each of you a chance to comment. Under ruthless political assault by Jubilee, deserted by the rocks of his party in politics and business, stabbed in the back by top party officials, batting for Uhuru, and given the pressure to restore discipline and deliver for NASA, it's not a good time to be Kalonzo. Those are not my words. Those are the words of the writer of the Daily Nation front page. Honorable Chris, your take on that. Why is Kalonzo under siege?
First and foremost, I want to confirm that Kalonzo is not under siege.
Oh, he's not under siege.
He's totally in control of the Ukambani votes. This is just the propaganda of Jubilee. And looking at the headlines, you find the gentleman Peter Mudhoka, who is, we are told, he's been funding Wiper. I mean, previously, yeah.
Yes.
Let me tell you, these are business people, and they want to invest where they're going to get returns. So it does not mean when he's funding Jubilee in one way or another, he's not giving a hand to Wiper. So we cannot just assume, and I know he's a very close ally of the late Vice President. And coming to Johnson Mudhama is still in... he's a very strong person when it comes to NASA. He's at the Secretariat among the people who are coordinating the campaigns of our presidential candidate. And he helped it out, and I don't think it was because of Kalonzo. What I know is...
He's out of Wiper or out of NASA?
He's still in Wiper. Remember he said that...
No,
he
resigned.
No, he never resigned. He only said he's not going to contest for the Senate. And there are different reasons why he decided not to. One, we are told maybe because the wife is contesting for the Machakos on Jubilee Party. Maybe that was one of the reasons. I'm talking about Mudhama.
Oh, you're talking about Mudhama.
I'm talking about Mudhama. I'm not coming to Msila.
Yes.
I'm talking about Mudhama. And Mudhama at the moment still one of the key managers or the people at the court secretariat who are helping in the campaigns to ensure that Raila Amolo Odinga is going to be elected the president of this country. So the issue of saying he's out of Wiper does not arise. He's still very much comfortable in Wiper, though he has expressed some differences with Wavinya Ndeti, which is something which is personal, and I don't think it's anything to do with the Wiper the party. And when it comes to David Msila, I've worked with him, and first and foremost, I know he's a good person, and from the clips, he has said he's still with NASA.
So what happened on Sunday? Was he misquoted? His media...
He was misquoted. He confirmed yesterday night, if I watched the news clearly, and he said he's not supporting Uhuru Kenyatta.
We have that story which will play just now. Let me get an opinion from Honorable Kinoti. Your take, is Kalonzo under siege? Is there an issue, or is it simply propaganda?
I firmly believe it's under siege. I wish to disagree with my colleague Honorable Chris. The reason, and I believe the basic reason why Kalonzo is under siege is because the politics of opposition in this country seem not to have an agenda. So it becomes very difficult to rally people behind you for a very long time if you have nothing that you are delivering to them. He successfully delivered the Lower Eastern vote to the opposition last time. It was very easy, but still it was on a wave basis. There was nothing solid which they could identify with. Now this time it becomes very difficult because people get thinking, and I think that's a problem all over the country when people try to rally behind you and you don't show a course in which you are leading them. Because if we can have something, let me say, if the people or the hundreds of thousands of voters would wish to identify with Kalonzo, they have something to fight for, then I believe it would be very easy for them to have, and because politics is about numbers, even the let's say the pillars of his party who would disagree with him, they would be forced to follow him if the people are behind him.
Okay.
Now, because the people are not behind him, it becomes very difficult for him to maintain the pillars and to maintain the people as well.
Okay.
And I think the simple game the opposition should play, if I may assist them for free, is to have an agenda, because at the end of the day, the Jubilee Party or the current government, they have something to bargain for. They think this is what we've done and this is what we are intending to do.
But you feel the opposition does not have that? I'll give Honorable
By the way, is he independent or is Jubilee?
Actually, those are some of the issues we'll discuss when we come back.
I don't think you're independent.
Let's revisit. Honorable, please hang on a minute. Let's revisit that story from last night, and then we'll give Honorable Kajwang a chance to respond to those allegations.
While his motive in making the utterances may not be clear yet, the message has reached home at the Wiper Democratic Movement, provoking it to release a statement condemning Nyenze's sentiments. In a letter signed by the party's executive director, Jared Siso, the party warns Nyenze of the consequences for supporting a rival party. The letter reads in part, the party will seek clarification from Nyenze as to whether he has, since his nomination for Kitui West parliamentary seat, shifted allegiance to the Jubilee Party, after which the party will chart the way forward. End of quote. Nyenze's views attracting condemnation and praise from different camps.
Kwa hivyo tunauliza bwana Kalonzo Musyoka, tafadhali kama mulipatia bwana Nyenze tikiti ya Wiper, kama inawezekana mchukue tikiti, mtafute mtu mwingine, sisi tuko tayari na tunakushika mkono kabisa kabisa.
Na wananasa msiona vibaya, game huanga hivyo, hata nanyi mkiona ni nini, jitayarishe tu kuwa upinzani, lakini tunataka wapendwa wetu kama Nyenze na Msila na wengine mkuje tuungane pamoja tuhakikishe Uhuru Kenyatta amepita kura ya urais mwaka huu tarehe 8 mwezi wa 8.
This even as Kitui Senator and independent gubernatorial aspirant David Musila denied ever endorsing Uhuru, but added that the opposition alliance has been frustrating independent candidates willing to support the NASA presidential candidate.
I did not endorse him, and I did not endorse anyone. In fact, even before I had said, even MPs, senators, should be elected on their own merit, and that was my emphasis. But you are also aware that NASA has said that they want a 6-piece suit and they do not recognize candidates who are independent. There is an issue here in Ukambani that we would like to embrace NASA, but NASA are not embracing us.
Meanwhile, the National Super Alliance will continue with its nationwide hunt for votes later in the week. On Thursday, the NASA Brigade moves to Kajiado County with stopovers in Lodokilani and Rongai. Residents of Meru and the neighboring county of Tharaka Nithi will receive the NASA Gospel on Friday and Saturday respectively. NASA is set to return to the city on Sunday to launch their manifesto outlining the agenda for Kenyans. Sam Gituku for Public Press News.
Well, thank you, Sam Gituku, for that report. Now, before I get a response from Honorable Kajwang, I want to let you know that Beatrice Alachi has arrived, a nominated senator. Welcome to the program. Thank you. Good. We'll be engaged. Let's give you a chance to catch your breath as we talk to Honorable Kajwang. You've watched that story. Kalonzo's woes is the headline. Do you think there is a rebellion in Ukambani? Honorable Kajwang?
Well, Kalonzo is not under siege, and that headline is misleading. A story can have different turns. You could talk about the few people who have criticized Kalonzo in one way or the other. And you can also talk about the other people that Kalonzo has been able to bring back onto the fold. What we are not being told in this story is that people like Kivuta Kibwana are now firmly back in Kalonzo's corner. People like Wavinya Ndeti are now back in Kalonzo's corner. And more fundamentally, Charity Ngilu is back in Kalonzo Musyoka's corner. There is no single politician, including Uhuru Kenyatta. There are things that have been said by some of his erstwhile allies, people like Kavogo and Mandago, And we are not saying that Uhuru is under siege. Even Raila Odinga, Jakoyo Midiwo, made some comments out of frustration as a result of the party nominations. In as much as we are saying politics is about numbers, fundamentally it is about interest. And sometimes when individual interest does not coincide with the interest of a party, some people will leave. Musila has been very clear that he did not endorse somebody. But remember, not too far ago, Musila was the leader of a party, and a party that would have wanted to get a majority in parliament and a majority at the counties. And so when personal interest is not accommodated in the larger scale of things, some individuals might take a different position. What we are seeing is just a divergence of interest. But I can tell you that Kalonzo Musyoka has never been in a better position, because on 9th of August is going to be the deputy president of this country.
So you're not seeing a behind-the-scenes agenda to sabotage Kalonzo?
Of course, what I'm seeing is propaganda that is aimed at only highlighting the criticism against Kalonzo rather than the achievements that Kalonzo has made. And my brother says that we don't have an agenda. You know, when we went to Western, when we went to Kakamega as a NASA brigade, one of the things that probably we didn't manage to bring out very well is that we launched the Western Region investment plan, a very, very solid document. When Jubilee goes to Western, what they do there, the agenda becomes Raila, and they throw insults at Raila and other opposition officials. We went there and launched a blueprint. That was a culmination of many years of work by professionals from Western Kenya. And it talks about every sector. It is not just about Mumias and Pan Paper. It is not just about the top dressing issues that Jubilee talks about. So if you listen keenly, you will realize that even when we come to Meru, we are going to unleash a master plan for the farmers who have been ignored by Jubilee, and particularly those who have been suffering as a result of the global issues surrounding Mira. You just need to listen carefully.
I'll give you a chance to respond. I know he's touched home. Let me bring Honorable Elachi into this conversation. What is your take on assertions by President Uhuru Kenyatta during the weekend that Kalonzo had put his name in a list of Wiper nominees? And I want to refer to an article in this Daily Nation. Let me see if I can get it here. They were quoting Duale, if I'll be able to pull that out here, talking about, oh, here we go. Meanwhile, National Assembly, this is on page 5 of the Nation. Meanwhile, National Assembly Majority Leader Eden Duale challenged Musyoka to respond to the president's claims. He claimed that Jubilee received information on Saturday about the Wiper leader's plans. It is Kalonzo to reply to us. We have credible information, even from his own inner circle, which includes the likes of Nyenze, but for him to be relevant in the presidential race in 2022, he has to be either in one of the houses. National Assembly was ruled out because it will have so many young people, so they set eyes on Senate. The response to that?
First of all, I would say, you remember there was also, after 2013, we had a slight battle between him and one of his members of Wiper, whom at that time Reverend, they were thinking he can be told to step down, and he comes in. So I don't think there's anything wrong. I think what we are trying to see now is that we did wrong ourselves as a country when we passed the constitution and say, you go out there. And I remember the former Prime Minister was of that proposal in Naivasha, which passed at that time, that you go out there, you vote, you campaign, you spend your resources, and you stay outside. So they've realized, if you want to move to the next level, you must be inside, and you must be inside so that you are able to push the agendas. So for me, for Kalonzo to be in the Senate, I have no problem.
Do you believe the assertions by President Uhuru Kenyatta are true? Is there proof? What have you heard?
I don't want to say whether it's true. All I want to say, I concur with the proposal that if he's on the list, let him be in Senate.
Okay.
That's okay.
I think this is propaganda. First and foremost, when you look at the political parties' acts, there's a provision for party lists. And the party list can only be submitted for 5 days to elections. Right now as we speak, I think we are doing 50-something days. So why I'm saying it's propaganda, there's no party that has submitted that list, because we have that time frame of 45 days. And it's a lie. And going as per the Senate currently, the way it's constituted, all the people on the party list are women. We don't have any man. So Kalonzo will not be stupid or foolish to come and put a name there, and yet we've seen all the nominated ones are women. We don't have a man. That's why this is propaganda. You know, the Jubilee government has been desperate to have Kalonzo Musyoka. Remember, there was this propaganda that he's not going to accept to be a running mate of Raila Amolo Odinga. There was this propaganda that he had already presented his papers for presidency. So they are frustrated because they thought by them getting Kalonzo Musyoka, who is actually a big stake as far as our NASA is concerned, so on their side, you know, they are down. And look at all the conspiracies against Kalonzo. Even when we were talking about the issues of Yala, this majority leader, Duale, he was on the front line against the issue of Kennedy Musyoka to go to Yala. So this is a propaganda that is coming from this axis of the Duales and the DPs. So they are frustrated because they really wanted Kalonzo to be on their side, but they have failed. Kalonzo has done very well.
Because the president...
But let me ask.
Go ahead.
That's why before you ask, that's why I've said that whatever the president says is propaganda. The political parties act.
You feel he was not briefed properly?
No, but you say, if you say the list has been submitted, and I've just cited the law in the Political Parties Act, the party list comes 45 days to elections. So right now, we are doing 57 days, 57 or 55. There's no party which has submitted.
55 days.
Absolutely. So that's why I'm saying, where is the source?
So
it's a lie.
But anyway, as I asked my colleague, I mean, there is nothing wrong because Oburu took the slot for the youth. Is he youth?
No.
So for me to say that Kalonzo cannot come into Senate is wrong, because there is a slot of a youth, and it can be decided instead of giving a youth, they can still give him, and he will still stand in for issues. Just the way Honorable Oburu has been there for the last 4 years.
It is very wrong.
It's not wrong. I'm just saying what happened. It's very wrong for
Honorable Senator to come and mislead people. When it comes to these laws for nominations, we talk about marginalization. For instance,
women, youth, and the disabled.
And not only the disabled, even the elderly. Special interest groups. For example, just a minute. Let me finish. For example, the oldest parliamentarian we have is Mzee Wangamati, who is the chair of the Rear Council of Elders. So we have, when you talk about marginalized, these minority groups, so he's in parliament to represent the elderly. So you can't come here and claim on TV that Oburu Odinga is there representing the youth. It's very wrong. Because we have a category of just elderly group. We also have a category for the youthful. We have also a category for the disabled. So I'll give an example in the Senate as the way it is constituted. Those people who are nominated, majority there on the issue of the women, and others on the youth.
So he'll come in the National Assembly.
The disabled, yeah. So the point here is to say that whatever the president said that Kalonzo is on the list is wrong, because it's even not yet time to present the nomination list as provided for in the Political Parties Act. This is the propaganda that has been there around Kalonzo.
Honorable Kinoti, come into this discussion. I know you also want to respond to Honorable Kajwang about Meru County development.
I'd like to respond to Senator Kajwang and the issues he raised. The truth be told, though we may deny it here that Kalonzo is under siege, even that has it that the following that he had in Ukambani in previous elections may not be fair. It's worth noting that the claims that Nyenze made are clearly in line with what I said, that once a government has an agenda and it has delivered on it, it will be very difficult for opposition that has no agenda to woo voters to follow it. Nyenze made the claims he made during the launch of NYS. I have a similar program in my constituency, and when 1,000 youth are employed and they're earning close to $1 million per day, and now you try to the same people,
$1 million per day, all of them.
Is that the youth or the minister?
No. I'm trying to. He was saying the same during the launch of the NYS in his in his constituency, and he said, if I may quote him, I think you've seen the clip. He was saying that we must do politics of issues. Now, when such a wave of politics of issues hits your place, then it becomes very difficult. It's very easy for opposition to say what they're saying, that they have an agenda for this country, and doing a blueprint, anyone can do that. Even someone from another planet can come and do something and write something and try to explain to the people and who voters. But the thing is, what have you practically done? Because writing is one thing and doing is another. For instance, there was a law, an amendment to to the VAT bill that was brought to Parliament by Honorable Mbandi, trying to exempt fishing nets from VAT, and it was supported by the entire Parliament and it won. So we are asking, we have legislators from the opposition. We have an opposition that has been in this country for so long. It's not enough to say this is what we are proposing. It's good also to say this is what we've done so far, and this is the big agenda we have for this country. Now, when that mismatch comes, that is when it will become very difficult for people like Kalonzo to convince their bases to follow the opposition, because the big agenda that they should have delivered on for the last so many years, they have not delivered on it. When they try to question the government, they've not put that questioning to task, because we should have seen them go a step further beyond just criticizing into doing something to better this country.
Good.
You know,
take a break.
It's a very slippery path, particularly for my brother who's running for governor. Because if he follows the same reasoning, then we'll go to his county and they'll ask him, so what have you done? As opposed to the incumbent who has had resources. Let me just finish.
Actually,
so if you look at the opposition and the government with whom we signed a social contract to manage the revenues and to go and borrow money from Eurobond markets to use that to execute, you cannot expect that the opposition would also do the same thing. That is why it is a government. So you can't start talking about the opposition having done nothing over the last 5 years.
No,
so it's the reason why I'm saying it's a very slippery slope is that would mean that it is only incumbents who would have a right or who would have an answer to that particular question of what development have done. And that is what they're using in Jubilee, to distract attention. Every other day they say, let the opposition tell you what they have done. What we have done in this country, we have exposed corruption at NYS, we have exposed the theft of Eurobond, we have exposed the thievery of food. Today Kenyans know why they are hungry.
Let me respond to this, because I want us now to focus and know that we have moved from a dispensation, and I think that is where all the principals are having a challenge. We've moved from a dispensation where we had a president who talked about everything about Kenya. We are in a dispensation where you have also governors who have come, and I think that is where you find now when you are in the opposition and you have governors. I mean, you cannot tell me you have not done anything when you have left your own governor who had the best resources in Nairobi. You could not control him. Show an example to Jubilee government that when we are in the opposition and our governors have resources, they have been able to do what? To deliver. You find in Kakamega, in the same opposition of NASA, who is criticizing the other, another brother who is in NASA who tells the other one, you have not performed, yet they were in the same government, same opposition, and they had resources in their hands to prove. I wish we had even a model of Nairobi from the NASA government to prove to us, we have given you and you have done it. What have they done? They have destroyed. Even the little that was there with the de facto local government went under them. So and that is one thing, as much as we would want to try and now come in as the lieutenants of different parties to support, and I'm not just saying in NASA, I'm saying we must appreciate the train has changed. The terrain is so different that we find there is a governor, and that is why my brother there can speak like that, because when you go in his constituencies with the 4 years, people will tell you where Vuri was and where it is.
Exactly.
And they can tell you, fine, we can vote for this young man to become our governor because we have seen. I think Mheshimiwa has also an example. He cannot tell me he wanted at one point to go for the governorship in Trans Nzoia without showing proof in his constituency. It is only me and Senator who now can say, what have we done as Senate, and we can give our reasons in terms of our oversight. But anyone who has been having money to implement, you must account, and it's not only Uhuru, everyone must account.
On that note, against the wishes of my panel, we take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at some of the other big stories in the papers. The Deputy President's wife, Rachel Ruto, says, forgive Jubilee shortcomings, Nation page 8. In addition, the IBC says August elections will be foolproof. We'll talk about those issues and more right after this break.